So the moment this comes in, the manufacturers are going to say, okay, we are right now charging for a liter around 100 rupees. Now the prices are going to increase to 150 rupees because the manufacturer is having a manufacturing. There are us as a stakeholders who have invested into these companies, and they are in there to maintain their business. So they are going to say, okay, we are ready to adapt to the new laws, but this is what's going to happen. It's going to increase. Us as consumers are going to say, okay, great, amazing. This is a great step towards sustainability. We welcome it, and we are going to now start taking milk in the glass milk bottles, and then once we use it, we'll keep it outside, and that's how the cycle is going to happen. We are ready to pay 50 rupees more, but it is just us. What our consumers happen back is let's say 1 year we do that, we are paying a bit more, but someday, if in the black market, if any of this breaks a rule and decides that, okay, I'm gonna still have my milk in a plastic bottle or a plastic thing, some or the other way, the gullible ones who are not much concerned towards environment but more towards the economic aspect of it, trying to save money, are going to tend towards going there. So the entire chain which we are trying to maintain, made from the consumer's perspective to the recyclers to the segregators to the government, all this is going to break, and eventually it's never going to happen. So we all, it is no one's fault. It's each and every one of us has a responsibility, and we all need to maintain that. And this is also very important that we understand a lot of things that we consider as recyclable are not commercially recyclable. So just understanding the definition is very important.
Yes, I think we also had a few of our speakers saying that, you think paper cups, they're recyclable, but they're actually not. There's still plastic in them. There's still a lot of things you really don't know, and you just assume you know.
I'm going to ask you a question. Do you think paper is recyclable?
I don't think so.
Yes, it is not. So paper at your house,
I think
you can recycle, you can upcycle it into an artifact or something in your own house. But the moment you give it to a raddiwala, he's going to send it to a paper mill, where only 40% of that paper which you're given is going to become a brand new paper again. Rest just changes its name and becomes a waste in a landfill. So technically, it's your paper is not recyclable. That's always I say it. So paper may be recyclable, but paper is not commercially recyclable. So there are two wide differences between these two terms, and that's something we all need to understand for us to start innovating. That's why I always keep saying, it's high time now we not just promote and propagate about sustainability. We also need to start taking steps towards executing, and that starts with just understanding the real meaning of recycling. So that's my advice always to everyone.
Thank you so much for that advice. I hope everyone heard that as well. Well, I really think that we really underestimate a lot of things as well as overestimate them, and we really need to understand that we have responsibility in each and every one of our actions as well, even if it's very small. And I think you put that in a very great way. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. I really want to ask you about your EE Tech Eco Economy, and how is it different from circular economy? I know we all want to go to the cycle where nothing is waste. Nothing is waste. Everything goes back to a process.
Correct.
But how is it different from the whole circular economy?
Yeah, so basically, circular economy and the e-tech models are just the same. We have just modified it to make it much more relatable to what the processes we do. So, for example, it starts with it has three biggest steps. One is identification. So first we identify a specific problem or a specific waste that is being generated, maybe from an industry, maybe from your own house. So we do an audit of it. So let's say from your house there is clothes, there is paper, there is plastic. Plastic also is divided into multi-layer plastic, PETs, so identifying what are the things that is coming out from your house. It's very important because we cannot generalize stuff, and a lot of times that's one of the reason why a lot of our waste ends up in the landfill, because we ourselves don't know what are we throwing away. So that is then comes
That is true. Yes, that's true.
segregation. Yeah. So the second step is segregation, where what we do is we specifically segregate stuff apart from the dry waste and wet waste, which we all know of. But once we identify a problem, let's just take your house example. If we say that your house has paper waste, your house has even coffee waste, your house has waste coming out in terms of plastic. So we'll keep 3 bins that specifically mention that you will be throwing your waste in that particular bin. Once it's full, we'll be collecting it through a system, and then it will be the third step, which will be eco-processing. Now, this is where what we consider as zero discharge facilities. So any product that we make, we assess it in 3 steps. And this is where it is a bit different from the circular economy, but because what we are doing here is we are also bringing in triple bottom line, where we assess a particular product, whatever we make, on environmental impact, social impact, and also commercial viability, because it's very important. If we cannot mass produce it, we cannot make it reach at a much more affordable rate than the already available products in the market. It's not gonna do any help, because there is so much of waste, so much of quantum of waste that is available, and if we are not able to utilize a maximum of it in a very cost effective, environmentally sustainable way, it's not gonna help solve the problem. So that is something we assess as so all those 150 products that we make out of around 70 different types of waste, all of them have been assessed in these 3 things. So yeah.
Okay, yes. I think that's, that's a pretty much very elaborate process that goes in there. But I think the impact you make is tremendous, because you were just talking about how you create such products that, that economically you can use them. You can literally use them. Anyone can use them. So I really want you guys to just, he has a website. You can go in and you can look at all of those projects and all of the products he has created so far. And you should just realize that not every single thing is about, he started in a garage, guys. You heard it. He started in a garage. And right now he's being recognized globally. And if we don't realize that, I don't know what else we should realize.
In fact, I'll show you something that is very interesting, which we are working on. If you can see it here. So I would let you guess at what this is made out of. Any guesses?
It looks like terracotta, but
it's actually a bowl made out of coffee waste.
Yes,
so the waste that is generated out of after you from the coffee machines after you make coffee. So that was the bowl made out of coffee waste.
I think the amount every day you can actually make bowls out of them. And if you just count each and every coffee waste from each and every house, wow.
Yep. So that's
I've heard petroleum. I think I've heard biofuel from coffee waste, but this is the first time I'm actually looking at a solid product out of coffee waste.
So this is not coming up soon on Diwali. So watch out for it. It's a properly commercially developed product we are launching very soon, and they will be available everywhere. So it's a product again out of waste for the people in need. So.
Wow. I'm really seriously questioning my existence right now. Oh my God. So, the impact and the products and everything, I couldn't be more taken aback and impressed at the same time. Thank you so much. Like, this insight has made me realize that even I can create sustainable products, or even just reuse, or even not use, just use sustainable products that I can work with instead of plastics and things that will hurt the environment, stuff like that. And even, you should visit his website and look at all the products that he's offering you. Probably you might find some pretty interesting things that you were probably trying to discover. But best impact series so far for me, I should really say. Well, I have one last question. As a Recycle Man of India, what is your piece of advice to all the youth out there? And can you please let us know if, how do you think these NGOs can contribute to the cause?
So I think
because we're all small.
the best advice,
we have so many NGOs.
Yeah, I think absolutely. So I think the first thing I want to say is only buy things that you need and not that you want. If you do this thing, if you just follow this particular thing, a lot of your waste is not going to be a waste anymore, because you're going to save a lot of things from becoming waste. That's one of the big advice I give. Apart from that, anyone who wants to start anything, I would always say a simple formula. So number one, observe a problem around you. Number two is failure is the key to understanding what and how not to do things. And then third is learn from your failures, learn from the things you have observed. And the fourth is solve. Once you have failed, once you learn from that, all these things, solve the problem that you have observed or learn from what you have failed. So these are the four things that I usually tell everyone to follow for a startup or any kind of idea you have. And always assess yourself on triple bottom line, as I mentioned: social impact, environment impact, and economic impact. All three things balanced out. No one can be above the other. It has to be in a complete balance. So that's a way. And for all the NGOs out there, we are always open for collaboration. So send in your way how we can collaborate and we can do things. We are always open for that. In fact, we have a decentralized process. So we, instead of having one huge factory, we have multiple factories out there where we make these products out of waste. And the something that's very special right now is this. We run women empowerment centers, and our latest center is going to be from a red light zone where all the past sex workers are now going to be women entrepreneurs making our products. So, absolutely, that's.
Thank you.
That is something really
I can't
excited about.
Oh my goodness. So, you guys, I hope you can hear everything he says, and I hope you really did hear all of that. Just simply, he put it all in 4 words. And as far as for NGOs, anyone, individual products, you can just bring it up to them. And, you're just talking to the Recycle Man of India. And I'm pretty sure he'd be very, very interested to listen to you if you really want to contribute to making the earth more livable and more breathable and more happier.
Yep, I think
I don't have that word.
DM me. So whoever has a proposal, just write it down and we'll take it forward.
Sure. And I think a lot of people ask in the comments how they could read about the product, like you were talking about the lot of processes involved, how they could read up on them. So does your website hold details for that as well, along with the projects?
Unfortunately, we do not put a lot of content out there on the website, but they can definitely write what is their purpose about knowing it, and probably someone from the team can get back to them with more details on the specificity of the processes. So I think that may help them.
So guys, worry not. Sir has a website. Sir has an Instagram account. He has a Facebook account. He has a LinkedIn account, and you can all just ping him up. And he's waiting there for all of you to show your interest. And I think by far, I've never seen someone who has actually created a greater impact, and not just by self, but by creating more examples. And you've tremendously gone beyond borders, sir. I really don't have words for all the things you've done, not only for us, but for the earth as well. And I should really thank your curiosity for that. Amen to that. But thank you, sir. And I really want to just finish with you giving us your famous quote that I kept reading all the time. Can you please
So there is nothing useless in this world. What can be a waste to you is someone's asset. So that's what we all need to follow in life.
That's what